Ready for the video?
Yes, I am.
Let's do it.
It's just very interesting. I
generally,
mean, I kind of agree
only men walk the
that,
path of Kriya Yoga.
Way too early.
So the question of she going into such atmospheres…
Consequence, it's gonna be harder for women if it's…
2%.
Whoa, it's really not designed for us.
Present practice. Was conscious. This is Vish and
Sierra.
And today we'll be responding to Sadhguru's video on
Women in Kriya Yoga, Women in Spirituality series.
My name is Vish and I'm an aspiring yogi. Love all things wisdom, meditation, yoga based. Super grateful to have Sierra on the show. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Sierra. I'm born and raised in the San Francisco Bay Area. I lived in Hawaii and now I'm located in Austin, Texas. I am currently a project manager by day and crypto enthusiast by night, and I also run a spirituality account.
Thank you so much for being here, Sierra. Do you know what Kriya Yoga is?
I actually do not.
Okay, well, I kind of know a bit about it. I've been kind of practicing it myself, I think. So with that,
let's get into it.
You have talked about Kriya Yoga being a path for the tough people. Are there any women Kriya Yogis on the path?
Women?
Women Kriya Yogis on the path?
There have been, but very few, because Kriya Yoga demands a certain extreme sense of discipline and perseverance at certain stages of its sadhana. Generally,
it means
it's
spiritual
not
practice.
that it's not
Did you know that?
possible, but
No,
generally,
thank you.
women did not choose Kriya Yoga because they don't like that kind of hardship. It is not necessary that Kriya Yoga should mean hardship, no. But biologically, a woman is slightly disadvantaged when it comes to Kriya Yoga. Not essentially so, but to a certain extent she is disadvantaged. But what I have seen and known is the general Kriya Yoga that was taught was mostly designed for a male.
What's going through your mind so
Because
far?
most of the practitioners were male.
It's just very interesting. I
generally,
mean, I kind of agree
only men walk the
that,
path of Kriya Yoga
men naturally
because
have
it
slight
involved a
physical
certain discipline
advantage.
Let's find out more.
and it involved a certain taking away from the normal situations of life, which was not possible at all in this culture for a woman, because by the time she was 8 or 9, she was married. By the time she was 15, she had
You're
a
right.
child.
Way too early.
So the question of she going into such atmospheres where which Kriya Yoga demands was not available. So traditionally, it got established like Kriya Yoga means it's for men only. Not because yoga is of that nature, because social conditions were of that nature. So all the practices that were designed and structured by various masters were all male-oriented because their disciples were male. Accordingly, they structured the processes. This does not mean no woman has walked Kriya Yoga path, no, many have, but they were a very small minority. So not too many practices were designed for them. But the systems that we have structured here are suitable for women also. They're doing well with their practices. So can a woman walk Kriya Yoga? Yes, she can. But if she wants to walk Kriya as 100% path, she's slightly disadvantaged. She's come with a little handicap. So she needs little extra effort if she's willing to do that. But it's always best, if one wants to progress, to mix all aspects of life, to create a proper combination of these four dimensions of jnana, karma, kriya and bhakti. And in a woman generally, the emotional dimension in him, in her, is more dominant than other dimensions. It's good to make use of that. Why give up an advantage and take up a handicapped position? It's better to make use of the advantages that she has.
So let's talk about it. What do you think, Sierra?
I thought it was interesting. You know, he kind of in the beginning started talking about how physically, like, men and women are different, so it's going to be a little easier for the dudes. But as he went on, it kind of sounds like this type of yoga was actually designed and developed mainly for men, because men were the only ones doing it. So in consequence, it's going to be harder for women if it's really not designed for us. So
That's a great take, Sierra. I love how you were able to take this so open-heartedly, because I know it's maybe, you know, sometimes very, let's say, easy to get caught up with the certain aspects. And let's just say if you were to, I'm sure the media is, again, whether you're left or right doesn't matter, but they'll take a line and then blow that up, and you get the idea, right? It's very sensationalist driven. The point is, if you were to only focus on, oh, it's, you know, women are being handicapped and this and that, it can come off a bit offensive, right?
Yeah.
But I'm curious, why did you take it that way? What made you take it more open-handedly?
yeah, well, first of all, I completely understand where you're coming from. And as a female athlete myself, you know, I believe in equality for all human beings, whether you're gender, race, whatever, and, you know, experience the discrepancy between men and women, just even in my own experience as far as sports. So obviously relating to yoga, similar kind of arena there, but that, you know, there's a reason why men and women's sports are separated right now. I mean, you know, that is controversial in itself at the moment too, but genetically men are designed a little bit larger, or, you know, physically stronger sometimes, and especially in cultures where it's not America, like where, you know, India, wherever he's talking about this practice was developed, you know, it just goes into the history of it. So
I love that, again, you were very kind of real with it, didn't take it too sensitively per se, and just took it as it is. And I would agree. I mean, I think it's important to realize, two things. First off, we're all equal, right? Whether we're disabled, religious, women, men, color, does not matter. But it's still important to acknowledge that we are different, right? We can be equal, but different. And so like you just said with the physical aspect, yeah, I guess maybe men tend to be a bit more stronger and maybe bigger and so on. But that doesn't mean that a woman can't be stronger than a man, right? Or a man can't be weaker than a woman, or whatever else possibilities that are there. And so it's just important to be open and, I guess, accept that kind of reality as it is. And I guess moving forward with that part of this conversation, I want to really get a bit more into the yoga itself. Mm-hmm. What does yoga mean to you?
Ooh. Yoga, I think, to me, is just the practice of movement and connecting with yourself, your body, and kind of just taking a moment to be present and flow.
That is, I think, definitely a great way to look at it. And at its core, it actually means union. Did you know that?
No, I like that.
So, yeah, yoga itself, and that's where so Sadhguru talks about it. So it did come from the East, specifically, I guess, the Indian region. And so it does mean union. And so the deeper significance behind it, and it might sound a little maybe esoteric and out there, but since you're in the spiritual journey yourself, I'm sure you can relate. So it actually means union. And so essentially we're all kind of striving to achieve this union. There's 4 paths. So there's 4 ways to do this. One is Kriya Yoga, as he just talked about in this video, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and then Jnana or Gyan Yoga. And what that means is Gyan Yoga means intellectual. Bhakti means devotion. Kriya means internal action. And Karma means external action. And so the whole point is the goal ultimately is to get that union, which means liberation. So I'm sure a lot of people talk about enlightenment being this big thing, but liberation is actually the deepest goal. Have I experienced it? No. Obviously, I'm here right now with you, but even enlightenment, I'm obviously nowhere near. I don't think I am, and whatever that means. But point is, that is the ultimate goal. And so yoga actually means getting the union through one of these paths. Doesn't that sound very different from what we know of yoga today?
Yeah, completely. It makes me think of the mind, body, spirit, you know, kind of drawing that in and connecting it to yoga. I guess it's kind of how people interpret it, or it's talked about in the Western way, but I really love what you explained.
Absolutely. And I think even for me, before I got into this stuff, I would just view it as a physical thing and just like kind of a workout and exercise. And he actually says, this guru, that actually, let me ask you this. Would love to hear what you think actually too. What percentage of yoga do you think is physical? Let us know in the comments down below. Also, before I forget, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe button and that like button, would mean a lot for the channel. So Sierra, what are your thoughts and take on what percentage of yoga do you think is physical?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with 70 or maybe 65, but somewhere around there.
Okay, well, thanks for the honest answer. And I'll be honest, I don't think there's like an actual answer per se, but what the guru does say is actually only 2%.
Whoa.
And that's significant because the thing in the West, we tend to view it as purely physical, and it's really not. Again, as I mentioned, it's to achieve liberation, which is a very deep thing I can't even talk about because I don't know what it even means, right? But anyways, that's what that is. And tying this all into a bit more of like the yoga topic of the video. So Kriya Yoga means internal action. Again, there's different ways. So from what little I know, it essentially deals with, I guess, certain breath work and like doing certain type of chants and so on. And Kriya Yoga is basically just doing internal action. And I guess long story short here, as he says, the different paths are just, I guess, designed for different people and different types. So it's not, again, that one is better or worse, but one is more optimal. And so the key here is to realize that yoga is for everyone, right? Regardless of your gender, color, race, does not matter. But there are certain types which are optimal for different types. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here, Sarah. I appreciate you sharing your perspective on this topic, and remind the viewers where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at lewa.lani or TikTok at cryptobooty.
All of our stuff will be down below. And if you have any other video reaction requests or topics or guests that you want to see on the show, you can also comment down below. And with that, make a great day, take it joyful, and stay conscious. Awesome job. You did great.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Woo.